Hi, you are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado. On all of our channels and networks, I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That young man is
Jim Johnston in Northeast Ohio.
Before Jim and I were rudely interrupted, we were in the middle of doing Comisario, and we're going to finish. In fact, today, Jim and I are going to try Comisario Reposado. And what we're going to do, as we always do, I think we already nominated it as a brand of promise and packaging. It is gorgeous. It has not changed. I even went through the whole story of how I found Comisario, and years later, finally got them on Sipping Off the Cuff. So, as we always do, we're going to taste the juice first, then we'll tell you all the stories. And I'm going to fill folks in on some information that I got from the master distiller who is still involved in Comisario. So we have broken the seal off camera. Again, beautiful bottle. Nice color, too. And they did give us plenty of sell sheets and point of sale material. So we'll be able to fill you in on all the details. And I like that cap. It looks heavier than it really is. I remember years ago the cap, everything was
metal.
It was metal. You know, this one's a kind of a plastic metal look. It is a real cork. It doesn't even look like a composite. It's real.
It's real cork. Yeah. Not real metal though. That's plastic now.
Yeah, that's plastic, and that's okay. That's all right. I mean, you know, the bottle is very substantial, and I like the hand feel. Easy pour. I think we talked about that too. When we flipped over the Blanco was nominated Brand of Promise nominee in the Blanco category. Here we are with the Reposado, which is quite light.
7 months in the barrel.
And
but a nice color. Not bad for 7 months. I mean, that's a natural color.
Yeah. 7 months is pretty good, actually. And I'm waiting for Legs and Tears because I know that there they are. Here they come. Really pretty. I'm not sure if my lighting here, as usual, is not the best, but there we go. Nice Legs and Tears. Very pretty. So, what do we get for the smell? I'm using my Stasel Jarrito for tequila, which is the one with the little taller chimney. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Now, it has not lost any of the characteristics of the Blanco. I remember the Blanco being this aromatic as well and just very sweet on the nose.
Yeah. It's a very natural floral orange sweetness.
And the orange probably from the barrel, I would say, you know, or maybe amplified by the barrel.
There's a little bit of I'm just catching a little bit of spice at the end that I think is coming off the barrel there.
The wood is very gentle. I don't, you know, for 7 months you'd think it'd be a little bit more wood on this, but it really isn't. It's just adding another layer to the Blanco that we enjoyed so much. Wow.
Yeah, and just that little bit of spice that comes from the barrel.
Yep. Well, I'm ready to dive in if you
that's
are.
Pleasant.
It is. It's very, very pretty, very nice. I think so far it's very balanced. So let's give this a try now. Oh, wow.
Wow. The Blanco had pepper, and the pepper here has been not taken away, but muted a little bit, and little like burnt sugar caramel kind of coming through on top of the pepper.
Yes.
Where that real zest used to be.
Yeah. It's almost like the edges have been rounded off, just a little bit.
Nicely.
Yeah.
The pepper is still there, but it's like the pepper is now part of a larger kind of spice note instead of just that white pepper hit that we got on the Blanco.
Right.
and it's got that little sweetness of the caramel that comes over top of it.
It happens at mid palate too. It goes in and it's almost like an explosion of sweetness, but in a good way. I'm not talking about additives or anything like that. It's just a um, natural agave sweetness with that pepper undertone. You
Right.
know,
And I say caramel, but the second sip I have there, it's caramel might give off too much of like a burnt sugar flavor. This is more of a natural, not toasted sweetness for me the second time around.
can we go honey? Maybe.
Honey, yeah, honey, or
There's almost like a toasted almond kind of thing going on in there
yeah.
too.
The pepper's gone to spice. The floral sweetness has gone to a honey sweetness, which kind of makes sense after it's been mellowed a little bit in the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still really nice and very, very balanced and smooth.
This is a rich tequila for a reposado. You know, I think that's what it was that we said with the Blanco. It was the nose belied what the intake was, because it's actually it smells gentler than it really is.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of character
Yes.
for what it is, and oh man, wow, this is really good.
But when you smell this, the floral sweet aroma of this, which it's a Highland tequila, they say on their POS that it's a fruit, or a fruitier agave, a more floral nose. But when you smell it, you would think this is going to taste like a mouthful of sugar, just because of that beautiful sweetness and that floral sweetness on there. And then you get that pepper and that spice and that little bit of anise on the Blanco.
Yes.
And you get the same thing here, but it's a little bit less, and it's a little bit under that honey sweetness kind of, man, this is like,
there's got a lot of layers on this tequila.
it really has a lot of layers, but it just moves so well together through the entire flavor profile there.
It's like a good combo, like a good band. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
This has got a good rhythm section and a
Yeah.
good lead. That's what it is.
I love it. By the way, if you don't know, Jim does play in a band. So, we got a couple of guys. Our guy in the UK, Felipe, plays in a band also. He's recorded, and I think I'm not sure if he's a bass player. He could be the bass player. Yeah, so the two of you guys, when you finally meet together, when we finally make a trip to Mexico together to visit a distillery,
I'll make a trip anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
I'll go to England. Let's go.
Let's go to the UK. Yeah. We'll make a hop over to the boys in Ireland to meet your family, which
That's
is probably
right.
entire island. And wow,
Anywhere besides my grocery store right now would be a vacation.
just wear your jacket, your flak jacket, because you never
Right.
know, some crazy with an AK-47. It's been a crazy month. In fact, when you're watching this, folks, it'll probably be May. March and April was tough. And but anyway, I love this tequila. Now, you're the cocktail guy. What kind of cocktail would you experiment with this? And personally, I would just sip this. I love it. It's an added. It's like this added layers to the Blanco and rounded out the edges at the same time, which is just beautiful chemistry. It's just great.
And honestly, I would sip this too, but this has got some characteristics of Irish whiskey in the slight off sweetness of the whole way through. Irish whiskey doesn't have that kind of pepper to it, but this definitely has a sweetness that if you had a whiskey cocktail, you could substitute this. If for instance, if you liked a Jameson Manhattan or something like that,
Ooh.
you could definitely substitute this. And I would also say anything with sour citrus, because of the sweetness of this, the sweet and sour I think would balance out well. If you added orange juice to this, it would taste like a mimosa.
Oh.
There's too much sweetness in it. But if you added maybe a little grapefruit and soda to this, you could have a very nice, sweet balance with a little bit of tang off the grapefruit. But I would do that sparingly, as you should just pour it into a glass and sip
Yeah,
it
yeah.
as it is.
And you also have a whiskey bourbon club that you belong to as well, I
I
think.
do.
Would this be something that the guys in the club would? It's a whiskey cigar kind of a combo thing that you do.
Yeah, this is and I've snuck some tequila in on them, and they look and they say, brown liquid in a glass, it's bourbon, and then they taste it and they're like, this is not bourbon, but it's not bad. What is this? And I tell them, this has spent a lot of time in a bourbon barrel, so it picks up those characteristics. The only thing is, it's not corn and rye, it's agave, and a lot of them find that the repos are good, but the anejos are what they gravitate towards. But a nice sweet repo with a little bit of pepper and a little bit of baking spice on it, they can sip on it. It almost becomes like a cognac after dinner for them if they're bourbon fans.
Yes.
Where they'll have a glass of bourbon before dinner, and then after dinner they'll have that. And I would have this with probably a Connecticut wrapper cigar, maybe or maybe a light sun grown, not something crazy, but a nice kind of.
So they wouldn't clash. It would pair well with each other.
I think so. I think something with a little bit of earth and a little bit of spice, but maybe some cedar and some toasted almond and maybe even some cocoa notes would go great with this.
Well, let me give you the ins and outs before we sign off here. This is Comisario, the Reposado. I think you'll agree with me. It's a Brand of Promise nominee.
Absolutely.
Just gotta go there. And I expected nothing less. As I told Jim and you folks who had watched the Blanco production.
That's why I had the Blanco. I didn't think putting it in a barrel was going to hurt it at all. So
no. The master distiller who's still involved in this, his name is Jose Aceves. Casa Aceves is his business. If you need to find him, if you're looking to branch out and have your own brand, why not? If you got $10 million to spend, he will help you because that's what it takes to launch a brand.
They do know there's not a lot of agave out there, right? Like
not only that, at this point, when you folks are seeing this, we are in the middle now, not only of an agave shortage, we're also in an añejo shortage. Apparently, that's just news in the last few days. Of course, anybody who's involved in the business is probably running around with their heads cut off trying to buy añejo from other distillers. So if you have a hard time finding anything rested like añejos or extra añejos, now you know it's okay. Eventually it'll all work itself out, or you can just go to mezcal like the rest of us. Anyway, here's is this an estate grown?
That shortage is coming.
Yeah, that's the this is again the Casa Aceves is the master distiller. That's Jose Aceves, and he's still involved with the brand after so many years. There were some fits and starts. This comes from Gnome 1499, and I believe that I mentioned in the Blanco that it's an 80 proof, by the way. I mentioned in the Blanco that there were two different gnomes on one of these. I'm sure it's the Blanco and then the rest of the line. The reason for that is, I found out from Jose, is that the original distillery had shut down. I'm not sure when that happened or why, but Jose works with a handful of distillers, factories that he brings his clients to because they have the proper equipment, and so that's the difference in the gnomes. It has nothing to do with the brand shut down or somebody moved it. It's still being supervised by the same master distiller that when I tasted this years ago in Las Vegas. So the quality is there.
1499 is what these came from. 1529 is where they will be seen going forward.
Okay. This one, again, we got a lot of really nice high-end sale.
They have a lot of information on their POS.
Yeah, double gold for cigar and spirits. Wow. See, I hadn't even thought of that. The awards, even our awards, that's why we don't charge for them because, to us they mean much more. But I like that these guys had that the cigar double gold at Cigar and Spirits. Wow. So we're on the right track, Jim, you and me,
Yeah.
talking about, pairing even the Blanco with cigars, which is, I was a big advocate about that years ago. I even have an article written for Cigar Advisor, if anybody's seen it. It's about pairing cigars with Blanco tequilas. And I think that even shocked the editors. I said, no, wait, listen. So, and the piece is still up on their website. I think on my own personal website, Tequila Sensei, I have a link to that article. Where do I have the information on there it is, the repo. Quickly, just to give you that background information for those of you who are wondering. It's a Blue Weber agave. They give you the soil type. They give you the weather, the harvest. Let's see, 24 ART. I think a mature agave, that's 20. I would imagine ART is bricks. I'm thinking. I'm not sure what those initials stand for. There's an autoclave. It is cooked in an autoclave. I don't see how it's distilled, but that's okay too. Slow fermentation in open stainless steel vats. Wine yeast. Wine could be champagne yeast because that is a wine. No fiber, no additives or accelerators. So there you go, folks. It's a lembic stainless steel with copper coil custom design, and that's why he moved. That's why he uses the equipment.
Equipment was the same.
Yeah. Excellent information. Go get yours. I want to thank Elite Beverage for making this happen. Finally, on Sipping Off the Cuff. But that's our take on Reposado, the Comisario Reposado. But stay with us. We have the Añejo coming up, and I'm really anxious to see the evolution of this tequila because the Blanco was such a winner, and the Reposado does not lose any of that. It just adds another layer. So
yeah.
So again, that's our take on Comisario Reposado. You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels, platforms, networks. Please follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. Give this video a like. Hi to all the folks in Ireland. Believe it or not, Jim has a huge contingent following in Ireland. So
when they let me go back, I will come with duty-free bags in hand to share all the love.
Oh my gosh. We can only hope. By the time I hope my passport's still valid by the time I get to because I'm not free to use it, but I haven't been able to. So
yeah.
But anyhow, do whatever, just whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.